Chapter 21. Come right in, folks. Please, have a seat. Would you like some coffee or bottled water? We have both. Maxwell asked in his most disarming manner. Not for me, thank you, says Lily, thinking this isn't a social call. Ralph, not trusting his voice, settles for a negative shake of his head. Let's go straight to the questions I have for you then. Since you both seem to know about the old lady, Annie Allwright, possibly being your foster baby's grandmother, I would like to know how you found out, and why didn't you feel obligated to be straight with us? A high wall of silence grew between the questioner and the visibly shaken man and wife. Neither could find their voice, and the question just hung there unanswered. Well, don't you have an explanation? Finally, Lily got the nerve up to speak. I was waiting in the social services office when I overheard the old lady asking for help in finding her granddaughter. She said her daughter had abandoned her baby on the bus, and I knew it must have been Shelley. Ralph told me of his finding the baby and taking her to the police, who in turn let us foster her, so it wasn't hard to figure out. We love the baby, and we're hoping to adopt her, but if she has relatives, it makes things more complicated. That's all I know. Alright, now Ralph, tell me about your connection to the old lady, Annie, who you were consoling on the bus. Lily jerks to a straight-up sitting position and shoots a bewildered stare at her husband. Where'd you hear that? He asked, swallowing the bile that floods his throat. I'm asking the questions here, mister. I may have helped an old lady from time to time, but I don't really know what this has to do with anything. Sweat bathes his underarms and forms beads on his brow as he searches for words. The old lady is dead, Mr. Hampton. Murdered. Everything is relevant. Please just answer the question. I had nothing to do with her being killed. I did see it in the paper, but that's all I know about it. I think it's time for social services to take charge of the baby, at least until we sort out who knows what. I'll be calling her as soon as you leave, and I'll expect you to have the baby ready when they come for her. Oh, by the way, I'm going to need to know where you were Saturday night. Saturday night, the night Annie Allwright was killed. You mean we're suspects in a murder? The words strangle him. You just give us an alibi and we'll clear you. In the meantime, get the baby ready for Gloria. Why are you taking her? Cries Lily. We haven't done anything wrong. It's just a precaution until we figure out what's going on. We have to protect the baby. Ralph gathers a shaken Lily in his arms and steadies her as they leave the station. I can't believe it, she says, still sobbing. You'll see, honey. They'll see they're wrong to think we are involved in anything so terrible. This is going to be a disaster for Lily, and it'll be up to me to be the strong one in the family from now on. No more rolling over every time Lily barks at me. You do realize, don't you, that we have denied being out of town Saturday night? How can we now admit we were at the resort down by the ocean and up in the mountains all weekend? They'll know we left town without permissions by social services. We box ourselves in with our alibis, Lily. Lily loses control, the little control she had, and launches into a full-blown meltdown. The drive home was a blur for Ralph, with the cars in the adjoining lanes speeding around him and laying on the horns. He comes out of his fog when the cars in front of him suddenly brakes for no conceivable reason. Stomping on the brakes, he barely avoids a collision, throwing Lily against the dashboard. Sorry, hon, are you alright? No, I'm not alright. I'm losing my baby, and I'll never be alright again. Her sobs turn into hysteria. That's enough, Lily. A sharp edge to his voice warns her to turn off the emotional rant. We have to keep our heads if we want to get out of this mess. We'll just have to admit to being out of town over the weekend. We sure don't want them thinking we are murderers, says Lily, being barely able to speak between sobs. You're right about that. We'll go back tomorrow and confess to being stupid and leaving town without permission, but that doesn't make us murderers. Ralph returns his focus on driving, but the events of the past few weeks constantly replay in his mind. I was afraid giving the baby to Lily was a mistake, and I know for sure it was. I gotta take charge from now on and do what I know is right. She'll just have to learn she's not the only one whose life has been turned upside down. Hitting the accelerator and the blinkers, he moves into the fast lane.